Good morning, folks. Well, it's morning where I am, in winter in Australia, August 2025. My deck collection video continues, my manifesto. So I'm just going to dive in with one of these. I did do a little video on this 100 years ago that I took down because it was really crap. So this is Let Go, one of the little rock pool decks by Akal Pritam, and the artwork's really quite lovely. It looks like it's been painted on wood. Try and zoom in so you can see. And yeah, but on the back is like a little quote. Your mind is a recorder. Let go of all negative, unkind replays and replace them with elevated sounds. I do not use this in any way in my practice, so I'm contemplating just having it as a handy little box filled with bookmarks that are quite lovely to have around the house, because a lot of the time when I'm reading, I'm just shoving envelopes and old tatty things in, so it'd be nice to have some lovely bookmarks to use. I could also pop them in cards for friends and things like that. So otherwise, really, it sits in a box. These cards just sit in a box. They don't get used. So perhaps, it's just not really my vibe. I think it's really pretty, and it was another impulse buy, but yeah, I think better served as practical use as a bookmark. So the next one I've got is The Unfolding Path by Athene Noctua. I was surprised how much I really enjoy this deck. I actually use it, well, I'll say semi-regularly. Because it's white, it's starting to discolor, and there's nothing I can really do about that except just like accept it. I'm not a pristine human. I come and go in and out of the house. 1 minute I'm gardening, 1 minute I'm down the beach cooking, whatevs, and then I have the inspiration to, sorry about all the shadows and stuff, still an amateur. Anyway, yeah, it's surprisingly accurate. It's very helpful in human relations, friends, family, work, colleagues. Sometimes I use it as a clarifier tarot for light seers when I'm working on those kind of spreads, sort of understanding interplay of human relationships and relationships in my life, past, present. I love the diversity. This guy kind of reminds me of Drax out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, and it just slams it every time. I really, really like it. And it's not really what I would expect for me. This card I love. I just love that one. I think it's very empowering. So yeah, it's a mass market and I highly recommend it. This is Tarot of the Sacred She by Deva Padma. I believe she was involved with the Osho Zen Tarot, which I would like to get. I'm curious about it. And I also have another deck of hers, which will be in another video. I don't use it a great deal, but I do use it when I need some soft female energy, maternal type guidance. I use it as an oracle sometimes too, rather than the tarot associations. I can pull out a card, maybe a couple of cards. I haven't really used it in any bigger spreads. So for example, the numbers go, you don't get, say, Queens, the court cards, they just are numbered. So this will be number 13 of the Pentacle suit, which is the Queen of Pentacles, which I think as an Aussie is a bloody beautiful card. And that's the other thing with this. Some some cards I really love the imagery and they look great on camera, but sometimes in person there's some that really get to me. I'll just pause, hang on. Okay, so I've got a mix of the ones. These ones kind of, some of the ones that kind of bug me, they don't look as, hang on, I'm going to cough. Sorry. They don't look as disjointed on the camera, but these just look like clip art to me. I'm not a great fan of this one. And it's not the message that I don't agree with. It's just the actual delivery of the artwork. And this little girl just really looks fake. But there are others that I really love. Like, look at this for the lovers. I mean, that's alluding to the twin flame, isn't it? This reminds me of a dear, dear friend of mine, so I adore that card. How's this for the world? Oof. And I also really, really enjoy that one. So it's not going anywhere. It's staying in my collection forever and ever. The Tarot of the Sacred She. Okay, next up are two that go together, like the birds and the bees. Yeah. Do I need to introduce the Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith alongside the Oracle of the Radiant Sun by Caroline Smith and John Astrop? Foolproof, fail-proof. Is that right? Yeah. Together forever. They just rock it. I love this. I cannot live without a Rider-Waite-Smith in my life. This is the, oh no, I have the other one, another one, the pleatback. It's in my backpack that I take out and about into the wilds if I'm going to go for a really long hike or go and spend hours on the beach. I try to find really remote places, and sometimes I like to potter along with some tarot while I'm out there. And my pleatback, which is, I'm not going to go and get it from the car. She's a bit rough because it's tumbled along the beach and into rock pools, a few of the cards and things of that nature. But it's because it's been in nature. And here is the clarifier of all clarifiers, in my opinion. Images, keywords, planetary association, astrological, numerological, and house placement. So with the house number, I apply it to my own chart when I'm doing a reading for myself. I will one day get to the point where I'm a competent enough astrologer as well, because the archetype set up in astrology just floats my boat and I resonate really powerfully with it. So yeah, I highly recommend this. And for any minimalist out there who just wants one clarifying deck, I think this is a really good option for that. Great little guidebook, and you can go through your chart. If you've got your chart, you can go through the guidebook. It does there's only a little bit in each entry that will offer an option that isn't specific to this placement, if you know what I mean. But I think there's so much to go from, you don't actually need the guidebook with this. Up is my Fairies Oracle, Brian Froud, with the guidebook Jessica Macbeth. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this 100 times if you're a tarot tuber watcher like me. I love it. It's a place I go when I need additional support. I love the singers in it when I really need a divine guidance. But other than that, I'm open to anything this has got to teach me, because I think it'll never stop teaching and it'll never stop being a guiding principle. Is that what I mean? I think there's a lot in here, and I'm pretty sure I've been friends with a lot of these when I used to go and play down by the creek on my own as a little girl. Like, I'm sure these guys used to flick around on the moss-covered tree ferns and rocks and things. So, yeah, I'd love the other one, the one that's out of print. But that will be a quest for another day. So, sort of following along from that, I have the Witch's Sister Tarot, which I'm still getting to know, and when I'm in a certain mood, I really want to use this deck. Sometimes I feel like the just focus, well, primarily on human faces, is not what I'm after. I love the artwork. I think it's beautiful. I love the intensity of the witches represented in here and the stories in the guidebook. I think there's a long-term work for this. Like, I think with a lot of decks, it's time. You know, it's time. It takes, like any relationship, it takes time to develop an understanding, you know. Those relationships where you just hit it off and you're best friends forever and ever are rare. And some of them you might need to be a bit suspicious of, to be honest. I've found that. I think, oh, God, this person's my new best friend. And then go, oh, my God, they're crazy. These two together, Forest Fae, Little Rockpool deck by Nadia Turner. Check it out. I think this is meant to be these two, because while this is really whimsical in a lot of ways, it's also very grounded and supportive. And I just feel like sometimes it offers a counteraction to what's going on in these cards. Sometimes it complements them. So this is saying take time for hibernation and healing with the King of Swords. Trust in yourself. You have all you need. Keep going. Yeah, I just feel like this is a great little combo. Cast spells of wonder and delight. Trust your inner wisdom for the King of Cups. Okay, so that's the Witch's Sister and Forest Fae Oracle. The next one along, I'm right in the decks that are right sitting in front of me, they're not in boxes, is the Druid Craft. It took me a long time to buy this, and I trimmed it and I etched it, I believe, in sort of like, an antique colour. And I don't know if you can see, it cops a beating from me just because of I think it's the cardstock and the way I shuffle. I'm here to use them. I'm probably, I don't know, if you saw my last one, you know it's not true. I do misuse some of the indie decks as well. I'll just go off into a bit of a la-la land, to be honest, sometimes when I'm shuffling. So I'm not really aware of what I'm doing. I just love the imagery. I love that Two of Swords. I think that depicts it brilliantly. Though I'm really unsure as to why the cape. Like, if you're going to be naked in the forest, go full on. It does get a bit chilly, I suppose. Yeah, I think the Forest Fae again can come in with this sometimes as a complementary oracle. Stories of medicine, strengthening and renewing the storyteller. The art in this little deck, I'm hopeful she continues to create things, because I'm really quite enamoured with some of the characters in her deck. Okay, Druid Craft. Oh, and I use it a lot for ancestry work, like hearkening to my original cultural roots, pre-colonisation of Australia, where my ancestors genuinely come from. Okay, next is the Marielle. I love it. Sometimes it absolutely confounds me. And I think, I am not in the mood for this. And other times I am here for it. And I do deep dives. Recently I was immersed in this deck for weeks on end, relating to an old situation that came back into my life, and I really wanted to process some stuff around that, and this was right here for me. Besides, I can also get completely lost in her art. What a life achievement this deck is. It's a gift, I think. I'd love to get the first edition, and I wouldn't and I swear I would never chop the borders off because I have this to play with, but I'd still like a copy of the first edition. I like some of the images that I've seen that have been changed in this edition, so maybe that's something I'll chase down. I also have heard that the Druid Craft, just backing up a bit, there's a good book. I'd love to hear from that. Thank you to the subscriber who suggested the book for the Only Barb deck from the last video also. Alright. Now I have the Dark Goddess Tarot from, what's her first name? Ellen. Lorenzi-Prince. I never ever use this as a tarot. It's gilded. It's getting battered. I really just enjoy pulling out a card and having a goddess as a guidance for the day. To be fair, honest, I haven't done a lot of this. I've been intending to, but with my study load, workload, life load, there's a few things that are just going to have to be put on pause for a while, or just, scantily occasionally visited as something to do, which is this one as well. I am really, really digging the surgence of focus on female goddess energy of all types, particularly the Dark Goddess. I'm bloody sick of women having to live by this narrative that we don't have power like blokes do. It's just an absolute load of bullshit, and I'm over it. Not to say that I'm an anti-man in any way. I really am not. The masculine is absolute equal in my mind, but it's about redressing the long imbalance, in my opinion. You can't have peace in this world without a balanced state. Okay. Lin Striders. I just don't know what to say. I'm totally back in love with this deck. It is pretty much my daily deck, and I'm doing big spreads, common. But I think we just connect really, really well, and there's decisions that I'm making in terms of my career future and things like that in this Lin Strider by Shiloh Thompson. Absolutely smashes it. I love it. I love the watercolor. I love the white space around the images, and I like the nuances within the images. Like for here, the Judgment card has angel trumpets. Like it's got a trumpet, but it's also the angel. What are they? The lilies, trumpet lilies, and the Four of Swords with the sleeping lion. I love it, and the posture of the humans that are in it, I really enjoy too. So, Lin Strider, highly recommend. Tarot of the Vamps. I trimmed it and I've kept the edges a bit sharp with a groovy red. I love it. it's the guidebook that sold me on this. I saw it all over the place. I've never sort of been very vampy, although they're sexy as hell. So I get it for sure. This deck though, really, I would play with it and I would use it and I would get some fair reads, and then I used it for a specific, no, it's been more than one person now, historical stuff, and really, I'll say the word intimate stuff, not, come on, keep it clean, not that kind of stuff, but emotionally intimate, and trying to understand things, and this is like, boom, smashed it out of the park. It gave me so much clarity around it, and I mean, every time it comes up, this is the deck I reach for that. So I think this is going to be the main purpose of this deck for me now in this collection. I do dig the art, like, it's so not my aesthetic, but the guidebook, ooh, it's brilliant. And I use the guidebook for other decks too sometimes. I really think it's fabulous. So apparently it's out of print now, so I kind of, if I see a deck, I might grab it, because I'd like to see it again now that I've got a purpose with the borders, and see if that's any different. But I mean, I think I've said before, I'm not a borders fan generally. Next one of my favourite decks, Dreamkeepers. I barely had this out of my hand earlier this year. So for me, it was very much autumn, or late summer and autumn. Don't know that was the reason why. It was possibly that I was leaning in on Liz Huston. Is it Liz? I'm pretty sure it's Liz. Yeah, Liz Huston's wisdom in the guidebook. I can get a read off the images of the cards for sure. I mean, it's a Rider-Waite Smith, and I think it holds pretty true to that. But that guidebook has been a friend of mine. And when I first actually opened this deck, I was like, oh, shit, I don't know about this one. And then I just sort of sat down and had a little meet and greet with it for an hour or so, and yeah, it sits front and centre. It's right next to my Murder of Crows, so, or just above it. So yeah, definitely for one of my most used, most relied on decks. I don't want to sound needy, but I needy hit. I feel like I really, really appreciate Liz and what she brings to the conversation that I'm having in my life. Okay, my favourite dreamy, soft, gentle deck, which is Tarot Landscapes by, hold this space, the images are by Yoshimari and the little book's by Francesca Mattioni, or is it just edited? Maybe Yoshimari wrote the book as well. It's just been edited. And back to my last video when I mentioned the El Goliath. While I love it, I wish an editor had have got their hands on that guidebook. This is such a beautiful, dreamy deck when I just need space. I'm the girl who goes down the beach, and I'm very fortunate to be quite close, and some pretty rugged wild beaches too that just stretch on. And I walk down, and if I see another human, even if they're the size of an ant in the distance, I go, shit, packed. I love spaces that don't have humans. I get irritated if an aeroplane flies over the top. Like, I just want to be with nature. I do jump in the ocean every day, and I have now entered the 5th year of doing that. And I live in southern Victoria. in Australia, which gets a bit chilly. So I've actually planned to do a video about that down the track, because it's been a really helpful tool. One, getting over various unhealthy patterns in my life, but also mental health and all sorts of things. So look, like, I don't know, I'm not talking about that so much. So this is a really great Eight of Wands, although I actually am highly opposed to friggin' beautiful. They're beautiful. I cannot stress that fireworks is beautiful, and I'm captivated also, but I can never relax because I just know that the natural world is freaking out because it's not natural. Nine of Wands. Yeah, anyway, I love it, and I will be doing a pairing video at some stage, hopefully in the not too distant future. I'm really enjoying this process of going through my decks and why. And this deck is a Dixit deck, which I use as an oracle storytelling or story generate, what am I saying, like a seeding deck, which helps me with stories sometimes. Not, I know it looks quite childlike, but the messages within the cards cannot be ignored. So there's an older person and they're standing on the sands. It's pouring and about to suffocate with shortly the young person. These are really, you know, which door does the knight need to go through to rescue who, why, those sort of things, you know. He's going to cut down this tree that is the absolute universe. Oh, give me the feels, all right. And I'm going to repeat myself in my pairing video, so whatevs, but these guys together, I don't know. Come on, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Everyone, good. So we've got the Three of Pentacles with a marionette in a sort of like almost a throne-like, and the Ten of Pentacles. I can get stuff out of that. I hope you can see what I mean. It's a really great, beautiful, and I find it to be quite a calm, restful, even though it can be really very deep and very serious. I think it's the style of both these decks is quite restful and calm. All right, so I'll get those now. I think that will do for this video. Thank you for watching. Thanks to the subscribers. That's really cool. I just, you know, if there's any questions you have of me and what I do and what I want to do and all that sort of stuff, again, I'll reiterate, I'm doing my master's in counselling. I'm really into expressive writing therapy, horticultural therapy. I used to have a plant nursery, which I plan to reboot. You know, I go hiking. I just got a lot of conversations, and I'm really interested in community. Hence, I'm actually considering naming this channel around community, but I haven't decided. Sorry, waffling. Okay, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one.